Packer teams. At this time, please direct your attention to the field where Augustana head coach Scott Mejia and Wheaton head coach Cesar Gomez will be recognizing members of the 2021 CCIW All-Conference teams. When your name is called, please meet your coach to receive your award. The All-Conference team members from Augustana, presented to them by Coach Mejia. A second team All-CCIW selection from Rock Island, Illinois, Kayla Garcia. On the CCIW first team from Augustana, a junior from Wheaton, Illinois, Molly Frank. Also on the CCIW first team from Belleville, Illinois, Liesel Whitener. And now for Wheaton's All-CCIW honorees. First, the members of the second team. A sophomore from Cranberry, New Jersey, Morgan Beamer. A junior for the Thunder from Sparta, New Jersey, Tori Sealand. A senior from Tustin, California, Grace Hermanson. And now for Wheaton's first team All-CCIW honorees, a freshman from Flagstaff, Arizona, Mia Blair. A sophomore from Matamidi, Minnesota, Audrey Sexton. A senior for the Thunder from Geneva, Illinois, Izzy McNally. And being presented with her first team All-Conference award and her award is the CCIW Defensive Player of the Year, Lauren Ketchum, a senior from Tulsa, Oklahoma. Our final award tonight is being presented by Wheaton Associate Athletic Director Bill Stooks to Cesar Gomez, the winner of the CCIW Women's Soccer Coach of the Year Award for 2021. Congratulations to all of these honorees on your accomplishments. Wearing number 1 for the Vikings, Janie Casto. Number 2, Anna Bross. Number 9 for Augustana, Liesel Whitener. Wearing number 10, Maeve Sheridan. Number 11, Madison Brusvin. Number 15, Kayla Garcia. Number 19, Abby DeGastino. Number 25, Cami Kekalik. Number 28 is Alexis Dominguez. Number 31, Molly Frank. And number 44, Carson Kekalik. The head coach for Augustana is Scott Mejia. And now the starters for Wheaton in tonight's match. In goal, wearing 0, Lauren Ketchum. Number 3 for the Thunder, Zoe Lipke. Wearing number 6, Audrey Sexton. Number 7 is Sophie Lindquist. Number 13 for the Thunder, Izzy McNally. Number 14 is Jensen Ellis. Wearing number 17, Tori Sealand. Number 18 is Morgan Beamer. Number 22, Carly Fadum. Number 24 for the Thunder, Catherine Ashley. And number 26, Maya Schoolman. The head coach for Wheaton is Cesar Gomez. At this time, we ask if able to please rise for the playing of our national anthem.
Good evening and welcome to historic Joe Bean Stadium. It is a beautiful night for soccer, a beautiful night for conference soccer here on the campus of Wheaton College, and we have a matchup for the ages. The visiting number 4 seed Augustana Vikings taking on the number 1 seed Wheaton College. Thank you so much for joining us here on the Wheaton Thunder Sports Network. I'm Don Crowder, joined by Gabriel Woodowis here in the press box, bringing you live coverage of this electric matchup. As you can see, Augustana is about to take the field in their navy blue uniforms. Wheaton still in the dugout, still getting ready, but we are surely going to have a great matchup tonight. Wheaton coming into this game 7-1. They lead the CCIW. They captured a co-championship with Illinois Wesleyan. I believe they have the head-to-head due to their victory here at Joe Bean, so we're confident calling them champions. Augustana captured that 4th seed, and they stand at 5-3. But, Gabriel, this is shaping up to be an excellent night for conference soccer.
It certainly is, Don. It's a pleasure to be here at Joe Bean, as always. Even matchup coming into this one. Obviously, Wheaton is the 1, Augustana is the 4, but really similar overall records. Wheaton coming in at 9-7-2, Augustana at 9-7-0. Vikings looking to pull off the upset for the second time in 3 years. If you remember, almost 2 years ago to the day, these two teams met in this position, Wheaton being the 1, Augustana the 4, and the Vikings prevailed on a dramatic penalty shootout in that one. Wheaton coming into this one, it's no secret, a bit shorthanded. A lot of injuries, so we're curious to see how the number 1 seed responds to that adversity here on home soil. Augustana looking to right the wrongs of a couple of months ago when Wheaton beat them 3-0 up in Rock Island. We'll see how this one plays out, but we should be in for a cracker.
And Wheaton College, who has experimented with several different formations, looks like they're sticking with the 3 at the back. It's going to be Beamer, Izzy McNally, and then over on the right, Zoe Lipke. And then in the midfield, you have a couple players, Carly Fadum, Sexton, others, and then Ashley on the ball. Will take it out wide on the left wing, and then Jensen Ellis, Sophie Lindquist will provide a lot of firepower up front. But we start things off with a lot of energy down on this left-hand side. Morgan Beamer dribbled out of bounds, and Augustana will take over.
Big start for Catherine Ashley tonight. The freshman, she's had an impressive debut season, called up, I think, out of necessity as much as her own skill, and I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. She's obviously been a key player for the Thunder this year, but as we talked about with a shorthanded roster, she's being called upon to get the start in the postseason, so we'll see how she progresses tonight.
Yeah. And Gabriel, you mentioned that 0-0 draw that Augustana won in penalty kicks 2 years ago. I was here, I was covering that game, and from what I can remember, Augustana had 2 very tall, very fast center backs. I believe one of them was Anna Fank. Just all conference players that were very capable of collecting the ball and trying to clear it up the field. So you do expect Wheaton to control possession in this game. Augustana may be more content to sit back and play up the field, but as you said, Wheaton shorthanded today. We'll see how these two teams match up in the coming minutes. Long throw ahead by Kekalik. Most of the action still on this left-hand side. Bross trying to get into things. And it'll be a throw-in for the Vikings. Thrown up. Good defensive positioning from Lipke. And nearly concedes the corner, but is able to fend off the attacker and win the goal kick.
Yeah, she's only a freshman, but that was some experience defending right there from the player out of Ada, Michigan. Used her body well, just corralled that ball over the line for a goal kick for Wheaton. You get the sense that a fast start is going to be key for the Thunder tonight. Just looking at the stats coming into this one, Wheaton with 17 first-half goals on the year, Augustana with only 4. So the Thunder know that they'll have to strike early.
Wheaton fights forward in the midfield. Lindquist on the wing back to McNally. McNally picks her head up, tries to spot the run. It's an intelligent ball cut out in the end by Brusvin and cleared out for throw.
Like the idea right there from McNally, the recent All-CCIW first-team honoree, the senior defender, looking long over the top for the run of Lindquist. That's a common strategy we've seen from the Thunder team this year, trying to utilize Lindquist's speed down the wing.
And here's another all-conference player, Lisa Whitener, striding forward past a couple of Thunder players. Good ball forward. Might have been a shove in the back, but it'll go out of bounds. Corner kick first of the night for Augustana.
Yeah, Maya Schoolman turned around right there, had to get on her bike, tried to get that ball out of play before it went over the line for a corner kick, just unable to do so. Still a pretty good defensive effort there from the sophomore, though. Augustana will gain some confidence from their first corner of the evening.
Long cross in, headed out by Fatum. Second chance effort is blocked by Ellis up top. Brusvin. Cut away, here's Ashley. Finds Lipke back. Lipke has plenty of space in front. Goes short to Sexton. Sexton able to turn, finds Ellis. And out wide. Here's Ashley in some space. Cross sent in. It's a good one, and the header nearly missed.
Beautiful idea right there from Catherine Ashley. Dangerous ball across the box. Lindquist will be disappointed that she wasn't quite able to get her head on that one. I was surprised that Ashley initially pulled out of the counterattack and chose to slow things down, but obviously it ultimately almost worked out for Wheaton with the early goal. And it looks like it was actually offside. The Augustana player taking the free kick. Not exactly on the goal line.
Bit of a short kick, cut away by Sealand. We've seen Tori Sealand, who was a second-team all-conference selection, multiple places in the pitch. Due to some injuries, playing as a center back earlier this season, she's now entrenched in that midfield, more similar to what she played in her freshman campaign. Beamer is turned. Passes in, jumbled around. Someone's got to clear it. Ketchum's off her line and scurries to the ball, able to end the danger there.
That's a good thing for Wheaton that Ketchum was alert to the danger, because the Wheaton back line certainly wasn't. A little bit of miscommunication at the back there for the Thunder, but the experienced senior, the recent defensive player of the year in the conference, doing well to sniff out the danger before Augustana could get a tap in.
Fatum over to Schoolman, plenty of space for the sophomore defender. Bursting up, finds Fatum again. Nice turn from Jensen Ellis, gets it onto her left foot. Good little stop and go, does another one. She's known for that move. And now it's Ashley, another cross to the back post. Lindquist able to get to it first, but the goalkeeper rushes out, able to collect it.
Yeah, it looks like Abby DeGustino with the defending at the back post there for the Vikings, just able to get her body in the way enough to prevent Lindquist from getting a good shot on target right there, but another encouraging link up between Lindquist and Ashley.
Up in the air, it's one. Sheridan comes up with it. Now McNally. Here's Beamer. Beamer's nearly caught up with it, has to go back to McNally, who's forced to go long, and ends up mishitting it over to a Vikings player. And now Schoolman's under pressure, so the defense of Wheaton taking great liberty with their dribbles, nearly putting themselves under pressure.
It's not quite a full high press here from Augustana, but they certainly are closing down the Wheaton defenders as soon as they get a touch on the ball. So we see another example right here. The Thunder just really having to be careful moving this ball across the back line.
Lindquist has it, cuts inside, dispossessed. But the ball is given right back to Wheaton. Fatum now in the middle. Slopes the ball over. Now it's Morgan Beamer. Spots the run of Sexton. Really smart touch from the sophomore. And now Ellis able to get things going. Wanted it on her left foot. Still with Jensen Ellis. Gets the long-range effort. That was deflected. And finally cleared out for the throw-in, but nearly the first shot for Wheaton.
Jensen Ellis running the show in midfield early on here. A number of good touches and turns already from the senior. Did well to create some space there, but it was good defending in the end from Augustana just to clear it out for a throw-in.
Ashley receives the throw-in. Beamer with the right foot. Finds Sealand. If that hadn't been headed away, Tori Sealand might have been through on goal. As such, though, it is Augustana bursting forward. And that ball surely not what Garcia intended.
Tori Sealand, a really versatile player for this Thunder team. We've seen in the last 2 home matches against Elmhurst and North Central, she actually played in the back line. Looks like she's taking a more advanced midfield position tonight. She might be key to any success that Wheaton will have as this match progresses.
Here's Ellis. Still at the forefront of everything. It's a pass over that is touched out of bounds by Kekelec, and Beamer once again will traverse forward.
It's really interesting to see Wheaton focus on getting the ball through the middle because, of course, their leading goal scorer, Grace Hermanson, not playing tonight. So we're so used to seeing them with a direct attack when she's involved.
High crossover might stay in bounds if Lindquist can get there. Just wasn't quite the right curve in the end. Lindquist left-footed shot, tipped away. What a save at the near post from Casto.
Yeah, great extension right there from the sophomore goalkeeper. Looked like Lindquist had her beat. Excellent combination play between Lindquist and Sealand on the far side of the box. And the junior nearly picked out the top corner right there.
Wheaton corner kick.
First real effort at goal for the Thunder in these opening 10 minutes.
Morgan Beamer, who typically has taken these corners, sends another one into the box, skips off the head of Sealand, and is cleared away out of danger. McNally is back and will send a cross back into the box. Headed away. Falls to Beamer. Fatum under pressure, dispossessed, and touched forward smartly. Here's Whitener. Whitener sends the ball through, tipped away. Still with Lisa Whitener, forward. Finds the run of Garcia, who had to be defended well, and was by Schoolman.
Yeah, once again, good recovery speed right there from Maya Schoolman, being forced to track back and cover the run of the Augustana player, breaking into the box, ultimately able to get it out for a throw-in, but another warning shot across the bow for this Thunder back line.
It'll be a throw-in, not a corner, and it's now taken. Pretty long throw it deep into the box. Ashley comes away with it and will send it forward. Cross inside, Ketchum screams for it and gets it. Certainly don't want to get in the way of your defensive player of the year when she's calling for the ball. And now she will weigh her options. Looks like she's going to choose to go long. First win by Sealand, up to Ellis. Fatum now, over to Beamer. Nice controlled play from Wheaton. Although Ashley showed a little bit too much of the ball there. Here's Beamer. Crossfield ball is cut out, but once again goes right back to McNally.
Yeah, Wheaton catching a break right there. That was a potential counter-attacking opportunity for Augustana. You could see the idea from Morgan Beamer, but I think if she had that back, she wouldn't try that crossfield pass again. Wheaton just a little careless on the ball here in the opening minutes.
That pass towards Kekelec seems to be mishit. Ashley rescues it instead of letting it go out of bounds. Beamer up the field. Ellis nudged off the ball by Molly Fink. And now out wide we have Schoolman. Quick 1-2, Maya Schoolman taken out. And we will see the first foul of this game going in favor of Wheaton.
Yeah, almost a tactical foul right there from Augustana just to slow the play down. We've seen a number of good midfield combinations for Wheaton on either side already, trying to put their passing skills to good use here in the opening stages. We'll see what kind of ball Sealand can deliver into the box here for the Thunder.
Strong kick from Sealand in the danger area, headed away. Headed away again. And now Whitener will try and tip it over. Beamer, first two. Finds Ashley, who is tipped out by Kekulek, who now has so much space in front. But it's chased down by Ashley, and it's going to be a foul. And Ashley's going to get a talking to from the referee. Bit of a cynical challenge there, Gabriel.
Yeah, perhaps. You could see the idea there. I think she did actually get a piece of the ball, but it's not easy to get away with that when you're coming in through the back of the opposition player. Referee's always going to blow his whistle in that situation. Looks like it's just a talking to for Catherine Ashley, but a dangerous free kick opportunity here for the Vikings.
Whitener is the free kick taker. It's not the best effort in the end, although the Vikings do retain possession with Kekulek. Long ball in. Cut away by Sheridan. Now Whitener has it defended well by Schoolman and harmlessly drifts back to Ketchum.
Not too many fireworks here in the opening 14 minutes. Obviously Lindquist with that good chance at the other end for Wheaton, but just feels like a couple of boxers just feeling each other out here in the opening minutes of this one. We'll see which team can come up with the breakthrough if there is to be one. Of course, these two teams tied 0-0 the last time they met in the CCIW tournament.
Kekulek bursts down the side. Beamer read the cutback, but concedes the throw-in. Bit of energy coming down this right-hand flank for Augustana, although they haven't been able to put too much together in the way of concrete play so far. It will be Kekulek to put the throw in. Doesn't get as far as Carly Fatum, and now Sexton will battle with the Viking player. Kekulek puts in a high cross, headed, won by a Viking player. Still with Augustana. Bross chipped away. Ooh, missed.
We're going to say that Maya Schoolman meant to do that, because if she did, it was a brilliant defensive move just to fake out the attacker. But, of course, Wheaton's injury crisis just really changing the dynamic of this game, because normally coming into a tournament match like this, you'd expect the underdog 4 seed to kind of sit back defensively and try to soak up the pressure. But I think Augustana sense a unique opportunity here. They know that this Wheaton team are more vulnerable than they've been in recent weeks due to their missing personnel. We'll see if Augustana can use that firepower to their advantage here. Good amount of the ball and some early chances already for the visitors.
Now you speak on the injury crisis, and one of the more recent names you already mentioned, Grace Hermanson, who is out with, I believe, an ankle injury. Mia Blair as well, a freshman who earned her first all-conference honors this past weekend, also is out with a concussion that she suffered in the last game. So two all-conference players missing from the squad that lost 2-1 against North Central, and then of course they join the ranks of players like Sarah Max and Ava Graber and Sarah Baki, who have missed a lot of time this season. Nearly a half chance for Augustana as they look a bit more confident on the ball. In the middle now is Sheridan bursting forward. The shot goes away. It's going to be a comfortable save for Ketchum, but a nice effort in the end from long range.
Yeah, good contact right there from the junior Sheridan. It ultimately went right down the throat of Ketchum, but another warning shot for this Wheaton backline. Augustana inching closer to finding the breakthrough. Wheaton just need to get their feet back on the ball and slow this thing down a little bit, regain their composure.
Fank battles with Ellis. Ball goes as far as Ashley. He's able to find her teammate. Beamer can burst forward. Still with Morgan Beamer out wide. That ball is a little too vertical, and it's going to be cut out. And Whitener will get there first. Ross up the field. Nice turn from Garcia. Pass is skipped over. This is Dominguez on the edge of the box. Some skill from Dominguez, shot in. Comfortable save once again for Ketchum.
Yeah, not the best contact right there on the finish from Dominguez. She'll be disappointed with that. Kind of looks like she lost her balance as she was letting that one go. Got to give Izzy McNally some credit for just showing the attacker up, not giving her too much space to work with. She didn't close her down, but she did kind of block her line of sight to goal. Dominguez trying to use McNally's body to whip it around, but quite unable to.
Ashley can try from long distance, just over the bar. Nice effort, though.
If you've got the leg to try it, what's the harm? Not much else is working for Wheaton at the minute. Catherine Ashley with some space, about 10 yards outside of the box, and not far away at all.
I think she could have taken a little more space there. Fink was backed off a couple yards. It's a low goal kick, not the best of chances, but it's won by Sheridan. Lindquist able to come down with it, but blocked away. And now Garcia can burst forward, chase down, and a great tackle from behind by Sealand. And we've come to expect that play from her all season long. Down the wing, Garcia. McNally smartly is going to let it dribble out of bounds for another goal kick here for Ketchum.
Yeah, I think you can tell Wheaton are just a little bit caught off guard by this fast start from Augustana. They're not used to being outpossessed, especially here at Joe Bean Stadium. So we're going to have to see some tactical adjustments from the Thunder as this first half progresses. With every passing minute, even if the scoreline remains at 0-0, Augustana just grows that little bit more in confidence.
Ellis is once again backing down Fink, who drops off. Still with Jensen Ellis, bursting forward, needs to get somewhere though. Ashley to Fatum. Carly Fatum cuts inside. Over to Sealand. Sealand will try the off-balance long-distance effort. It's spilled at the back by Cousteau, but rescued in the end.
Yeah, probably the first poor decision we've seen all night from Sealand. Not really sure what she was going for there from such a long distance. Nearly got away with it off the goalkeeper error, but obviously she was able to gather it in the end. Could be another chance here, though, for Wheaton.
Here is Sealand on the ball to Beamer. Beamer cuts inside. We're seeing a lot of aggression from the left center back, Morgan Beamer, as she has continued to push up the field. She has to track back now, though. Whitener looking forward for the run of Garcia. Schoolman had to track back and intelligently just sends it out for a throw. But once again, the dangerous offensive ability of Lisa Whitener on display. First team all-conference player.
Yeah, not many players lead their team in both goals and assists, but Whitener does with 4 each to her name coming into this one. She's obviously going to be the key player going forward for Augustana. And the Viking strategy is on full display here in the early stages. Very direct. They're trying to work off the counterattack, those incisive passes in between the Wheaton center backs. And for the most part, the Thunder have been able to deal with it successfully. We haven't seen Ketchum be forced to make a really impressive save yet. Most of the shots have come right at her, but it just feels like a matter of time before Augustana create that big first chance.
And I would say that's the feeling we had for most of that North Central game. Wouldn't you agree? You know, Ketchum made a lot of saves in that game. Only a couple of them really troubled her, though. Those were the ones that North Central ended up scoring on. So, just to your point, Gabriel, Augustana looking the stronger team right now. They've got more shots on target, and they're certainly threatening to put a better effort through on goal. But for now, Morgan Beamer once again has possession of the ball and is bursting forward, only to be cut out once again by Molly Fink.
And Beamer has an interesting match ahead of her because, as we know, she loves to bomb forward. She's such an attack-minded player, even though she lines up in that left-back position. I think they're going to need her defensive abilities more tonight than they normally would with a full-strength Thunder team. She might just have to slightly shift her approaching play. We've obviously still seen her get up the wing quite a few times and put some dangerous balls in, but I mentioned earlier the tactical adjustments that Wheaton might need to make from their normal style of play if they're going to get the win tonight.
And I'm pretty intrigued that anytime the ball goes out of bounds for a throw around that corner flag. It's Beamer who takes the throw instead of Ashley. You know, you'd expect maybe that left wing back, not the left center back, would take the throw, but it seems like Wheaton's trying to go offensive tonight, trying to send Beamer forward as much as they can. This time it'll go out of bounds in favor of the Vikings, and Kekalek, who had a pretty busy first couple minutes, has since quieted down, will take the throw. Here's Lipke.
Really interesting tactical shape right now that we're seeing from Wheaton. They're kind of playing with that false nine. Jensen Ellis at times is the farthest player forward. Sophie Lindquist, obviously the second highest goal scorer on this team, but she's not really that natural center forward player. She prefers to cut in from the right side. So we see an offside here on the Thunder.
Some pretty good skill though from Ellis. Lost a couple players with her.
No, she's busted out the fancy feet already in these first 20 minutes. But I don't think it's unfair to say that the absence of Grace Hermanson is felt here in the early minutes. Wheaton just not having a lot to offer through the middle of the field going forward.
It's put back into play once again, not the strongest kick out of the backfield, and Wheaton comes away with it. Ellis has a chance to burst forward. It's Ellis still. Ooh, couple drag backs, gets the shot off over the bar. Harmlessly, a couple players calling for it, but
Jensen Ellis going for the goal of the year contender right here to open up the postseason. Great footwork. It all started with Audrey Sexton, the second team all-conference member for the Thunder out of the midfield, winning the ball back, slipping a great ball through to Ellis, but just unable to keep her shot down. Not the first dangerous long-range effort we've seen from the Thunder tonight.
Here comes the kick. Header won by Fatum, but she put her arms into the back of the defender. It'll come back the other way. Goal kicks is one area that Wheaton for the past 4 seasons has never struggled. Lauren Ketchum has such a strong leg, routinely able to send balls kind of near the halfway line in the summer and early fall months, and even now, typically Wheaton does not struggle with distribution, but tonight it just seems like Augustana not really able to take any advantage of goal kicks.
Well, and Wheaton's the old-fashioned way, playing off of goal kicks, just booting it long through your goalkeeper. A couple weeks ago, we saw Elmhurst here repeatedly try to play short out of the back, and Wheaton really made them pay for that. Wheaton doesn't take any chances from that kind of position.
The ball floats over, and now in the box, still jumbled around. In the end, it comes to Schoolman, who once again plays with the ball, gives it away, and now the cross is sent in. It's towards Bross, won by Lipke, and finally cleared away by the freshman. Here's Ellis over to Beamer. If she can get a good touch here, she has Ashley in front. Kekalek does come away with it though, and it's cleared away by Fank. Here's Bross. That'll be off Ashley, and a Vikings throw.
Yeah, note of appreciation, as you mentioned a second ago, for Zoe Lipke on that last offensive series. Not 1, not 2, but 3 timely interventions, all in quick succession. She is a freshman, but you would not know it from the way that she has performed defensively so far in this match. The dual athlete. She's on the women's basketball team as well.
There you go.
One of the many 2-sport stars here at Wheaton College.
Oh, nice turn.
Put some webbing on the ball right there to keep it at her feet.
I tell you what, the defense for Wheaton has looked a bit shaky tonight, but I'm glad Seelan's in the midfield. Certainly have missed that presence, you know, in the center of the park.
Yeah, and from what we've seen through these first 25 minutes or so, you just get the feeling if the breakthrough is going to come for Wheaton in this first half, it's going to come through Sealand or Ellis. Those two players have been kind of bossing it around in midfield, looking like the most likely Wheaton players to either score themselves or at least create a chance for one of the attacking teammates.
Yeah, you mentioned that Wheaton's playing with that false 9. Ellis sort of coming back to collect the ball. not a strategy we've seen from them in years past, but we'll see if it pans out for them. Nice move from Ashley, able to get it back on her right foot. Looks like that may have been a near post shot attempt, but it's cut away regardless.
Yeah, another example of a Wheaton player going for the highlight reel play from an interesting position. Great footwork initially, beautiful turn on the ball from Catherine Ashley. I'm not sure the shot was the right decision to make from that position though.
Ellis to Ashley,
Nearly.
who concedes the goal kick.
In a game of few chances, decision-making in the final third is so critical. We've seen both teams create a number of kind of half chances and opportunities for themselves, but have yet to see that killer instinct come into play for either side.
This time the ball is sent deep towards midfield. Wheaton once again comes up with it though. Beamer out to the wing. Plays the ankle a little bit too tightly.
Yeah, I think she was asking for a foul here on the near sideline. Felt that she was bumped by her Augustana opponent there, but the referee disagrees. Only a couple whistles so far tonight. Not the most physical game we've seen.
Ketchum restarts play by getting it to McNally. Beamer, who's chased down by Bross, forces the early pass, and the clearance is up towards Whitener. Calls for press from the coaching staff of Augustana, and they do nearly come down with the ball. This time it'll be McNally up to Ashley, who turns, still with Ashley, just sends a foot into the ball.
We haven't really called Sophie Lindquist's name since that early chance. Ashley looking to switch play to her fellow winger right there. It was a nice idea. Didn't work out at first, but a good chance now for the Thunder.
Ellis over to Ashley. Another cross with the right shoe. Oh, man. Sexton was perhaps there towards the near post, but it was an excellent clearance out wide.
Can't really tell that this is Catherine Ashley's first postseason performance from what we've seen from her so far, doing her best to set up her teammates in the box. A number of dangerous passes into the area, threatening that Augustana back line so far from Catherine Ashley.
Here's Lipke. Out wide. Schoolman has plenty of space. Vikings backing off just a little bit now. McNally back all the way home to Ketchum, who is pretty far out of her box. Now Sealand. Up forward, it's a really nice ball that stayed inbounds. And Ashley able to get a foot on it, forcing the play.
Interesting decision right there from Augustana just to kind of surrender the throw in. She wasn't actually being pressured by Catherine Ashley out in that corner, but the hard work from Ashley is rewarded. Great ball up initially, as you said, from Sealand, and Wheaton is able to carve out a throw-in opportunity out of that.
Ashley, a wild cross that's going to end up going backwards, forcing Fatum to track back. Oof. Man, Wheaton just misplacing a lot of their long passes, and they could be under pressure as a result. That ball goes over McNally. Ketchum is off her line very quickly, though.
Once again, great awareness from the veteran goalkeeper. As you said, coming off her line quickly. Looked like Maya Schoolman was maybe caught in two minds on that last play, unsure of whether to try to pick out a teammate or just clear it as far as she could. That's what led to the turnover. Wheaton doing well to avoid any danger, though. One of these days, I'll catch one of those loose balls up here.
I mean,
that was coming right for us.
Absolutely. You know, you should have just dove, tried to get it. I would have grabbed your legs. I would have kept you in the press box.
Exactly. Well, we've already had one stats computer that was shattered by a Wheaton player who shall remain nameless.
Garcia. A little bit of a weaker shot there towards Ketchum, who collects pretty easily for another save.
Not the best look there for Garcia, but there's only so much you can do when it's 1v3 in a position like that. Didn't have any teammates to pass to. Figured she'd just try her luck from distance, but it's going to take something better than that to beat a goalkeeper of Lauren Ketchum's quality.
Whew. Oh, man.
Did she put grease on the ball before the match started?
You know, she's been doing that same move since freshman year. It's the drag back push forward. So effective, and it looks like she's added a couple elements to it. You know, she used to kind of come down exclusively on the left wing, use that move to get a little space for a cross, but now she's got a lot of freedom in the center of the park.
Entering for the Vikings,
really
number 12,
maneuver around.
Ellis
You just
Hannon.
hope that at the end of all that skill, there's an end product.
It's a great point. You can have all the fancy footwork you want, but if it doesn't really lead to anything, it may not matter too much. Good hold-up play right there, though, from Ellis.
The wingers have swapped places. Sophie Lindquist is now on this near left side. Ashley, who is on the ball now, has come over to the right. We'll see if that changes the dimensions of the game at all. Beamer can burst forward. Lindquist is open. Beamer takes it herself and is dispossessed by Kekelec. Looked like for a second she might have had Lindquist through.
Yeah, surprised to see Beamer hang on to the ball so long in that position. Lindquist was calling for it. I wonder if her teammate just assumed she was offside, and that's why she hung on to the ball. We see the Augustana player brush by her, but once again, a timely intervention there from Lipke. So as you pointed out, the first tactical roll of the dice here from CCIW Coach of the Year, Cesar Gomez, switching these wingers, seeing if that leads to any sort of breakthrough for Wheaton. Obviously, most of the action coming down here on this near side involving Catherine Ashley, so maybe he's just trying to spread out Wheaton's point of attack.
Whitener cutting inside on Lipke, who defends the all-conference player extremely well. Still out on the wing, it's Garcia. Left-footed shot, it's going to go wide and out for a goal kick.
Yeah, she let it run across her body. Obviously, if she's a left-footed player, that makes sense because you want it on your dominant side, but it just took her further away from goal, closed down the angle on herself, and Lauren Ketchum can just watch that roll wide. Another chance that Augustana looked to carve out for themselves, but goes begging in the end.
Goal kick is cut out, but sent right back into Ketchum's hands. Just over 10 minutes to go. Bit of a chilly night here at Joe Bean, but not the worst the broadcasting team has seen over the years. No snow, no biting wind. As you can see, a lot of these players out here content to roll with the short sleeves.
Of course, in that famous 2019 upset that we've already described that Augustana pulled, we had some bad weather that day. It was rainy, windy, cold. It was not ideal conditions for a match, so Wheaton don't have that to fall back on this time around, but the cold will certainly play a factor here down the stretch, especially if we reach overtime penalties.
Beamer not happy about that call. Nonetheless, it's going to be another throw-in for Kekelec. We've seen a fair amount of power on these throw-ins. She's able to send them deep, or not quite deep, but to the edge of the penalty area. And they do keep the ball. Kekelec, top of the box, missed by Whitener. Schoolman retreats and blasts it out wide to Ashley, who can't quite control the pass. Lipke chasing over is going to clean out the advancing Garcia. That's going to be a foul. Augustana will take over right outside the penalty area. Pretty decent position.
Yeah, we saw a couple of risky defensive challenges that hurt Wheaton in that loss over North Central, giving away free kicks in positions similar to this one. We'll see if the Vikings can take advantage here. Perfect opportunity, no pressure on the ball from this free kick. Chance to just whip it across the face of goal and see if they can find a head.
Who else but Whitener? High cross to the top. blocked and cleared away by Wheaton up to Ellis, who will give chase. But Kekulek will return free of charge and get it over to her teammate. The Vikings were still a little bit out of position. You almost wonder if McNally could have spotted the run of Lindquist. In the end, the Thunder do pick it up deep in their own territory and give the ball back for a throw. Another substitute here for Augustana following Ellis Hannon. This now is number 27, Trinity.
Now on the field for
Gallegos.
Augustana, number 27, Trinity Gallegos.
Notably, no subs yet for the Thunder. I'd love to say that that is Coach Cesar Gomez putting faith in his team, but I think that is out of necessity more than anything else. Just a lack of players to call on from the bench tonight. He's kind of being forced to put some faith as we see one player pull up with an injury here, but an opportunity for Augustana.
Saved by Ketchum. I was just going to mention, you can always tell who's going to play by what shoes they're wearing, and a lot of players on Wheaton's bench wearing tennis shoes, wearing sneakers. A lot of key figures, a lot of former all-conference players that have picked up injuries and are unavailable tonight. Wheaton, however, remaining strong here. Deadlock still at 0-0 with 6:37 left to go in the first period. Sexton is tackled. And once again, Kekulek is at the front of it.
Oh, what a turn.
Gallegos, the substitute, at the forefront of it. And the ball is rocketed forward towards Ellis. It's bobbled by Brusvin, and then nearly Lindquist was able to challenge Fank. Here's Gallegos. Kekulek. Oh, it's a beautiful ball out wide, and the shot is in, and it's a goal. What a fantastic ball from Kekulek over to the wing. And it's none other than Lexi Dominguez, who missed the shot earlier. 1-0 Augustana.
What a way for the freshman for Augustana to mark her CCIW postseason debut. As you said, it's all about the ball to set it up to the top of the box. We talked about the quality of the strike needing to be there to beat a goalkeeper like Lauren Ketchum, and we saw it right there. Augustana finally making their pressure count, and you have to say it's deserved. They have looked the stronger of the two teams in the first half. Wheaton not used to playing from behind on home soil. We'll see how long it takes the Thunder to come up with a response, but a beautiful team goal there for the fourth-seeded Vikings.
Beamer looks to respond quickly, goes up to Ellis. It's cut away. Lindquist heads it over to Jensen. Still with Ellis. And man, those dragbacks just as effective as ever. Pass goes into Sexton.
The Augustana goal,
Can't
number 28,
quite
Lexi
control it, and
Dominguez.
it's cleared away out of danger.
From number 44, Carson Kekulek. Dominguez from Kekulek.
Here's McNally. Ellis chips a ball forward, looking for Lindquist. Fank wins it and sends it out of bounds. And we now will see the first substitute of the night for Wheaton. Rebecca Max will check in and sub out Lindquist. Rebecca Max, a goalkeeper turned central striker. She will go up top in the middle. Ellis is out on the wing. Here's Jensen, turns her player.
Entering for Wheaton, number 20, Rebecca Max.
Fatum bobbles it, cleared away.
That's just kind of been the story of this first half for Wheaton so far, getting into good opportunities, but just not having that decisive final touch, letting the ball get away from them in critical areas.
Sealand. Out wide, Ellis has it. Sexton's making a run. And Jensen Ellis really nowhere to go. He's able to win a throw-in for her team just under 4 minutes in this first period. Wheaton, though, at least from their body language, they responded pretty well to going down 1-0. Sexton cutting towards the touchline. In the middle is Max. Here's Ellis. Gets it onto her left foot. Oh, back to Sexton. Cross sent in. Max taken down. And then it's a good save in the end from Casto.
Surprised to see Jensen Ellis roll the ball away from goal there. It looked like she had a clear window to get a shot away on target, but just that little bit of hesitation from Wheaton's 14, and the chance was gone, at least until the ball was put back in for Max, but it's really tough to generate enough power on the header from a position like that. Augustana kind of catching a break there defensively.
And it was her weak foot, but you have to imagine from that distance, just put your shoe through it, try to get as much power as possible. Now Augustana comes the other way. This time the save is quite easy for Ketchum.
But as you said, it has been a good response from the Thunder. More offensive pressure in these last couple of minutes than we've seen for a majority of the first half. Still unclear which player, if any, is going to make this breakthrough for Wheaton to get back on level terms, but at least we're seeing some fight from the number 1 seed here on their home turf.
Ashley, nice scoop turn out wide, using her speed down the wing and some of her physicality. In the end, she is tackled. It'll be a throw-in on that far side. Time running out here for Wheaton. He certainly will not want to go into the break down a goal.
And Wheaton's been a first-half team all year. They have been outscored 11-9 by their opponents in the second half of play this season, while keeping a 17-12 advantage in the first half. So they are on home soil.
Entering for Augustana, number 55, Melanie Parker.
Going into halftime with that deficit, that is a body blow for this Thunder team. They know they have their work cut out for them in the second 45.
I think that makes logical sense. A team that doesn't sub often probably will not get better as the game progresses. Probably a lot of those goals coming as a result of some tired legs.
And we definitely saw that in the loss to North Central last week. Wheaton tiring as the game went on. North Central just grew in confidence until they finally got that equalizing goal, and then the late winner. Wheaton just kind of crumbling under the pressure in the second half. Bit of a different story this time around with the opponent scoring first, so now it's Wheaton's job to respond.
It could be here. Seelan, dangerous ball in. It's won by Max. There was an offside flag up for somebody. It's going to be waved off, though. You can just see Sealand. Dangerous ball. And I think it might have been Ellis who was offsides there. Ball's back into play.
1 minute. 1 minute remaining in the first half.
Beamer will go forward for Ellis, who's chased down by Kekelec. Now here's Sexton. Now Ellis. Max able to hold the ball up, nearly finding Sealand, but can't quite get to her teammate. Gallegos has the run of Garcia to her left. Stays with it, though, and looks forward. In the end, it's cut away by Lipke and cleared up to the run of Ashley. Here's Catherine Ashley on the ball. Defending well. Wins her team the throw. Headed away by Fatum. 10 seconds left. Maybe one last chance for something to happen. It's going to be another shot on target for Augustana, but another easy save for Ketchum.
1-0.
That'll be it for the first half here. So Augustana,
we scored halftime of the CCIW semifinal match. Augustana 1,
goes
Wheaton
into
0.
halftime with
The restroom facilities are located underneath the grandstand of the football stadium,
just how
which
well
is located to the west of Joe Bean Stadium.
In the second half, Wheaton College, of course, will have to look
in
for
other
an answer.
CCIW tournament action.
They don't want to face
men's
a
and women's
third
soccer.
straight tournament exit and their second straight exit
In the 39th
Augustana
minute in
on
Chicago,
soil. But we'll
the
take about
Wheaton
a
men's
15
soccer
minute
team
break
is
and be back
tied
with
1-1
you on the
with
Wheaton
North
Thunder
Park.
Sports Network soon enough.
Welcome to Wheaton College Graduate School. Wheaton College was established in 1860, and our first graduate programs in education and theology began in 1936 and 1937. Since then, the graduate school has expanded to offer more than 20 degrees and certificates, attracting faculty experts and dedicated scholars from around the world to learn, live, and lead for Christ and His kingdom. Wheaton College is located in the town of Wheaton, Illinois. Campus is just blocks from Wheaton's beautiful public library, restaurants, coffee shops, shopping district, and French market. The Illinois Prairie Path leads to a range of gorgeous parks and forest preserves. To check out one of America's most famous cities, just hop on the train and head straight to downtown Chicago, a 45-minute trip. Our oldest building on campus, Blanchard Hall, is named after the college's first and second presidents, Jonathan Blanchard and his son Charles. Jonathan Blanchard was an active abolitionist in his day, and this building has been verified as a stop on the Underground Railroad. Blanchard is home to the Wheaton College administrative offices. This building also houses the MA in Teaching program. Built in 1960, Edmond Memorial Chapel is home to Undergraduate Chapel. Buswell Library contains study spaces, the Writing Center, a lounge, public computers, and our main stacks. At Buswell, several subject librarians, ESL, and writing consultants provide expert research and writing assistance. The Marion E. Wade Center is Wheaton's museum and archive dedicated to C.S. Lewis, J.R.R. Tolkien, Dorothy L. Sayers, and 4 other famous authors. Here, grad students conduct in-depth original research or simply browse through the many artifacts and reading room resources. The Student Services Building holds Wheaton's state-of-the-art Center for Vocation and Career, the bookstore, and also houses the MA in Humanitarian Disaster Leadership and the Humanitarian Disaster Institute. The Krauser Sports Complex is an 8,000 square foot building featuring a fully equipped gym and weight room, a swimming pool, indoor running tracks, basketball courts, a climbing wall, and studios where you can take classes like Zumba and yoga. Wheaton's food service is consistently rated among the best in the nation. The Todd M. Beamer Center is home to Sam's Cafe, The Stoop, a favorite place to get a special graduate student discount, and Wheaton's Anderson Commons Dining Hall. The Billy Graham Hall is named for the late evangelist and Wheaton College alumnus Billy Graham, commonly referred to as the BGH. This building is the heart of Wheaton College Graduate School and home for most of our programs, offices, resources, and classrooms. The 5th floor is home to the programs in the School of Biblical and Theological Studies, BITH, or BTS for short. BGH 5 contains an impressive display of biblically themed art featuring Wheaton's own resident arts faculty and such notable names as Albrecht Dürer, Rembrandt, and Sadao Watanabe. You will also find an archaeology museum and exegesis research resource room. Here in the lounge, BIS graduate studies students and faculty enjoy fellowship and special events, and students study and collaborate. This floor is also home to the Wheaton Center of Early Christian Studies. BGH 3 houses the School of Mission, Ministry, and Leadership, MML for short. Here, you will also find Buswell Library's Evangelism and Missions collection, college archives, and special collections, as well as the Wheaton College Billy Graham Center archives. Beyond the classroom, grad students come here to explore the history of Christianity, evangelism, and intercultural studies. The School of Psychology, Counseling, and Family Therapy, PCFT for short, is located on the mezzanine floor of Billy Graham Hall. On this floor, there are offices, classrooms, a resource library, 2-way observation rooms for practicum training, and research labs. Around the corner from the BGH, our new Center for Family and Relational Health provides our marriage and family therapy students with practical on-site training. The 2nd floor is home to the newly renovated Graduate School Commons. This area is where you'll find most grad student resources, Grad students use the second floor lounge to share meals, fellowship, and study. Here you'll find MA in Higher Education and Student Development program. You'll also find the Department of Applied Linguistics and Intercultural Education, home to the MA in TESOL and Intercultural Studies, and Wheaton's Institute for Cross-Cultural Training. This is Barrows Auditorium, where many of our larger events, conferences, and graduate chapel are held. As you enter Barrows, you can't help but stop and admire this beautiful mosaic, the Luminous One, made in 2017 by Wheaton students and faculty. Part of Wheaton that you won't find here in Illinois is Honey Rock, Wheaton's outdoor center for leadership development located in Wisconsin. The MA in Outdoor and Adventure Leadership is taught at Honey Rock, enabling students to serve as graduate assistants in elite programming, camps, and retreats. Grad students from the main campus enjoy fall retreats at Honey Rock. Thank you for joining me for this campus tour. Find more information about our programs, admissions, and financial aid at our website, wheaton.edu. We look forward to seeing you here soon.
The mission of the Wheaton College Graduate School is to form servant scholars and leaders through exceptional graduate programs for Christ and His kingdom. Praise God, at Wheaton you don't have to choose between excellence in academics and praxis and leadership on the one hand, and a deep commitment to serving Christ in the church and in society. No, we wed those two commitments together. We've been doing that for more than 80 years. Our faculty and students and alumni embodying humble leadership and servant scholarship, often at the highest levels of the academy to the farthest reaches of the world.
At Wheaton, our more than 20 degrees and certificates deliver an outstanding Christian graduate educational experience, one built on an enduring model of adventurous thinking that integrates both quality academics and profound faith. Only at Wheaton will you find the first graduate program to emphasize both humanitarian and disaster preparation with a focus on faith-driven leadership. The first professionally accredited marriage and family therapy program in Illinois to offer community services and hands-on student training with its own faculty-led clinic. A master's degree in theology whose alumni place in the top-tier PhD programs, and that offers a partnership with the Center for Pastor Theologians to integrate theology into the ministry of the local church.
Wheaton offers an unparalleled journey, cultivating a diverse community where students actively integrate their faith with excellence in learning, service, and leadership. In our Graduate Student Life Office, we build belonging with a variety of events throughout the year, including grad chapel, diversity panels, prayer meetings, and fireside fellowship. We provide resources and support for international students and students of color, cultivating an environment where together we most fully reflect the image of Christ and His kingdom. We facilitate student leadership by offering on and off-campus service learning partnerships and outreach opportunities that integrate Christian thought and action. Plus, our location just outside Chicago puts the world at your fingertips. Everything from world-class entertainment and the arts to the chance to put your learning into action in servant leadership roles.
In the midst of a global pandemic that emptied our own classrooms for half a semester, faculty and graduate students in our Humanitarian Disaster Institute provided research, events, and resources that reached over 603 million people. At the Honey Rock Center for Leadership Development, located in the Northwoods, Wisconsin, graduate students in our Masters in Outdoor and Adventure Leadership program learned and led experientially as they develop and manage outdoor discipleship programs that impact the lives of hundreds of children, youth, and college students every year. As faculty in the graduate school, we seek to model servant scholarship as we mentor our students. For me, integrating exegesis, theology, and African American biblical interpretation is just as relevant to my ministry as a clergy person as it is to my popular and academic writing. You'll find this pattern with all my colleagues at Wheaton, a commitment to service, ministry, and serious academic scholarship. These are just a few examples of total excellence at Wheaton, inviting students into the research, leadership, and ministry of our academic centers, research labs, programs, institutes, and applying the thoughtful leadership of the academy to the real-world context.
So, what does a typical Wheaton College graduate student look like? They come in all shapes and sizes from all places in the world with all kinds of different callings. People like Stephen Bauman, who was the head of World Relief, like Mark Yarhouse, who's doing so much to help us understand human sexuality, like Christine Kane, the Australian evangelist, or like Robert Sityo from Uganda, a remarkable man who with his wife adopted 18 children and sensed God's call to come to Wheaton College to finish his preparation for a ministry of evangelism in his home country. People of remarkable faith, commitment, and a deep sense of passion to do the work of Christ in the world. Our hope is that one day soon you will join them.
Welcome back to Joe Bean Stadium here. We're about to kick off for the second half of this CCIW tournament clash. Augustana currently leads against Wheaton College 1-0 here on the campus of Wheaton here at Joe Bean Stadium, but both teams will certainly look to improve their play in the second half. Thank you so much for joining us here. I'm Don Crowder, joined by Gabriel Woodewis, and we will be bringing you live coverage here in just a moment. These teams are coming back from their halftime talks. They look very comfortable in their nice coats. We have yet to see Augustana come back into the field, but Wheaton is just making this trek across half field and certainly look to get things underway. Gabriel, that first half was largely, we said, in favor of Augustana. How do you see the second period playing out?
Yeah, well, I'm really curious to see the kind of adjustments that Coach Gomez and his team will have made at halftime, because the Thunder were definitely under the cosh for a large part of that first half. The stat line actually kind of even when you look at it. 8 shots for Augustana, 6 for Wheaton, 5 on target for the Vikings, 3 for Wheaton, both teams with 1 corner kick. So it wasn't total domination. We certainly saw some good offensive glimpses in that first 45 minutes from the Thunder. But it'll be curious to see what kind of response they come out with in the second half and if they can find the breakthrough that they need to get this one back to 1 goal apiece. But certainly some dangerous attacking play from Augustana. I think they might actually be disappointed they only have 1 goal to their name after that first half performance. This one is finely poised. If this was a full-strength Wheaton team, you'd say you'd favor the home team on home turf, but we've talked about the injury problems that they're currently facing. Augustana will relish the chance to close this one out for a famous win.
As you can see, the Vikings are slowly trickling back onto the field on the left-hand side to face, as you said, Gabriel, a depleted Wheaton squad facing a lot of injuries. They've only made 1 sub tonight. That was Rebecca Max with about 5 minutes left to go in the first half. And I actually hope that she maybe starts this second half, as I think she might be. It really seemed like as soon as she came on, the game sort of changed in favor of Wheaton, and now you can certainly chalk that up to just feeling very charged up from conceding a goal. But I think pushing over Ellis to that left-hand side, as effective as she was in holding up play in the middle, it's maybe just going to allow her to get a more dangerous pass in. But we will see how things get started. The Vikings take the field and huddle up. Wheaton College already in formation. Looks like they've switched to a 4 at the back formation. Maya Schoolman will be out on the right back slot. Izzy McNally and Zoe Lipke will anchor the middle, and Morgan Beamer is out as the left back. Sealand stays up in a more advanced role with Fadum and Sexton in front of her, and then Ellis, Sophie Lindquist, and Rebecca Max take charge up top. It is Sealand on the ball now. Here we go for the second half of the tournament play.
Wheaton obviously trying to avoid defeat in the semifinals at the hands of Augustana for the second season running, getting upset here in 2019 in that penalty shootout. There has been a breakthrough goal. We didn't see that in 2019, that one obviously finishing 0-0. So we'll see if Wheaton can get this back to 1 goal each. But Augustana largely defended well in that first half. I think the Vikings will be liking their chances if the second half is more of the same.
Max is fouled, and who else but Tori Sealand will take this free kick. A couple of Wheaton players sprinting up to try and get their heads on this ball. It's a real direct pass. It's won in the end by Fadum, and Cousteau had come out. I wonder if she could have flicked it over the goalkeeper here.
I certainly think that's what she was trying. I'm actually impressed with the amount of power that Fadum was able to generate off that header. Back to goal, kind of being nudged by a defender in the back, still able to get quite a bit of loft on that header. She might be disappointed with the end result, but not a bad set piece routine there from the Thunder early on.
Lindquist. Back to Schoolman. And now in the middle, picking it up is Bross. Blocked by Sealand. And now with Sexton. Here's Audrey Sexton to Sealand. Charge from behind. Fadum. Oh, just behind Sealand as Max charges back to get into play. Here's the run of Garcia, has Whitener, plays it through. McNally had to rush and intercept. Whitener would have been through on goal. It'll go out of bounds, though, harmlessly for a Vikings throw.
Another timely interception right there from the Wheaton back line. We saw that quite a few times in the first half of play. Defenders being turned around facing their own goal, having to make those recovery runs just to sweep the ball away before an Augustana player could steal in behind. Some early pressure there from the Vikings, but the Wheaton Thunder doing a nice job of holding them at bay.
And one thing we do want to mention, Wheaton women's soccer, not the only team in postseason right now. The men's team is over in Chicago. They take on North Park University. Things are tied up at 1 apiece at halftime over there. So a couple Wheaton sports playing tonight. High stakes all around for the teams involved. Ball in from Sealand, nearly won by Ellis. In the middle of the park, it's dispossessed. Wheaton has a chance here. Sexton goes up to Lindquist. Fadum, long-range effort. I think someone blocked it, took some of the sting out. In the end, Cousteau harmlessly picks it up.
Yeah, it looks like that may have been number 19, D'Agostino, getting her leg in the way of that shot from Fadum. It looked goal-bound, but the deflection certainly took some power off of it, but still an attack for Wheaton to take some encouragement from in these early minutes of the second half.
Beamer. Lipke weighs her options. In the end, put under pressure, gives the ball away to Garcia. Now Whitener is through. Garcia, right-footed shot. She had the run of Dominguez on the right-hand side.
Garcia certainly busy in that first half for Augustana. Not a whole lot of end product from the junior out of Rock Island, but she was a thorn in the Wheaton back line, making things happen with some dangerous runs, some close control. She'll be hoping for more of the same here in the second.
Lindquist. Fadum is just challenged very well by Sheridan. Now Sexton can try to come away with it. It's Dominguez, though. The goal scorer in the first half for Augustana, picks up right where she left off, playing some great pressure soccer. Now Garcia, nearly through, tries to get past Beamer. Crossing from Dominguez is cut away. And back out to Kekalek.
Maya Schoolman maybe just getting away with a little shove in the back there. Referee turning a blind eye to it. Augustana still win the throw in here down towards the corner. But either way, obviously, it goes without saying that the next goal is vital. If Augustana are able to double their lead, you can't see much of a way back into this one from Wheaton's perspective. If the Thunder are able to get one here in these next few minutes, that'll set them up nicely for the home stretch. But it certainly takes a lot of pressure off the Vikings' shoulders not needing to attack in this second half. They've got their critical goal. For all they care, they can sit back and try to defend this lead.
Whitener gives it up, able to track back and prevent the pass forward from Lindquist. Now it's Fatum. Sends it forward. Rebecca Max will have to chase down a couple of Vikings players here. And Molly Fink decides to just poke it out of bounds for the throw.
Yeah, as you alluded to earlier, Don, I think the more often Wheaton can get the ball into the feet of Rebecca Max, the better. We can see the strength and the speed that she brings to this Wheaton lineup. Definitely more of a natural target player in that center forward position than anything Wheaton had to offer in the first half. We'll see if the Thunder can utilize her abilities down the stretch.
Ball is looked for Max, who goes down, and then Sealand's taken out, and that'll be a much more clear foul call.
Yeah, heavy challenge right there. That was Dominguez, the goal scorer, committing the offense there. And this is a dangerous position for Wheaton. Morgan Beamer putting the ball down. That likely means she'll be the one to take it, although Sealand is also in the area. Looks like Beamer has been called off of free kick taking duties. It makes sense when you have the leg.
Didn't seem too happy about it
right.
either.
Yeah, can't blame the coaching staff, though. Tori Sealand's got a rocket, and it looks like she'll go for goal from this position.
But Beamer is now just outside. Sealand takes it, shot in, and it's above the bar. What I was trying to say is Beamer just retreated over to the left. You might as well have had her stay over the ball. Left-footed effort maybe could have given some hesitancy to a goalkeeper.
That's a good point. Not the best angle for a right-footed player to take a shot from. Makes sense that Tori Sealand was the one to take it, given the power that she can generate. But as we saw there, not the end product that Wheaton were looking for.
You know, Wheaton had that one Lindquist effort that was saved very well from Costo. But apart from that, I think it's maybe the fourth time we've seen the ball sail a foot or two above the bar. Not the best offensive showing here from Wheaton's attackers.
Oof.
Ketchum's pass is short. Schoolman just gives it up, falls to Dominguez, and again, the right-footed effort will not challenge Lauren Ketchum at all. But
Wheaton's goalkeeper will be thanking her lucky stars there, because that was a rare mistake there from Lauren Ketchum trying to play the ball out of the back. Ended up being an easy save. Augustana unable to punish it. Not the first time we've seen shaky play out of the back from Wheaton tonight, though. You just get the feeling that they are one misplaced pass away from letting Augustana in for their second of the night.
You have to imagine some of that shakiness would be erased by putting Tori Sealand at center back, but then you just miss out on that same level of skill in the midfield. So, of course, now down 1-0, you want as much firepower up front as you can possibly muster.
That's a good point. And I'm sure if this match progresses with Wheaton still trailing their opponents, we will see players like Morgan Beamer get farther up the pitch, maybe sacrifice a couple of defensive bodies to create more attacking production. At a certain point, you have nothing to lose. You just have to go all-out attack. Wheaton have been missing that spark going forward for most of this evening.
Schoolman to Lindquist. Who dances around, Couple calls for out, but the ball never crossed the line fully. And now Seelan can pick things up. She goes to Lipke. Now Beamer looks down the line, is able to find Max, and the ball nudged away and cleared out of bounds. Jensen Ellis, who probably touched the ball on half of Wheaton's offensive possessions, hasn't looked too lively in the second half.
Oh.
Plays the ball through to Sexton. Sexton gets the shot. I'm going to take credit for that because I jinxed Seelan.
Well, Jensen Ellis heard your criticism.
I'm going to take the credit.
Respond.
What a goal. Oh, man.
Reverse psychology from Don
I need
Crowder.
to keep saying players aren't looking
That's
lively
right.
enough.
That's right.
Because 2 seconds later, they will play the through ball of the century.
Well, you can talk about Augustana's defending. Obviously, they'll be disappointed with allowing Audrey Sexton so much space on the edge of the box, but take nothing away from the beautiful through ball by Jensen Ellis. We've seen her get her name on the score sheet a couple of times in recent weeks. Now she plays the role of
The Thunder
provider.
goal, number 6, Audrey Sexton, assisted by number 14, Jensen Ellis.
So we hear the confirmation
Sexton
from the
from
PA
Ellis.
announcer. Beautiful slide rule pass just to split the Augustana back line. Audrey Sexton developing the goal-scoring habit here as the season has gone on. The center mid getting her name on the score sheet quite a few times in recent matches. This one from open play. And how about the composed finish from the sophomore? It took a cool head in a position like that, and Audrey Sexton delivered, and that's the spark Wheaton needed.
Yeah, look at the energy that's being brought. That's the one thing you need more than anything else when you can't really sub players in.
Just surprised to see Augustana kind of fall asleep defensively because they've looked so solid this evening. I wonder if they just got a little bit overconfident there because Wheaton haven't had much spark from that center forward position. They assumed that they could leave that pocket of space open. Full credit to Audrey Sexton for stealing in behind, kind of being that sleeper agent there for Wheaton to deliver the equalizing goal. Talked about all the experienced seniors on this Wheaton team. We had quite a full senior day ceremony against Elmhurst last weekend, but Audrey Sexton, one of the many players that the Wheaton coaching staff will be grateful to have back next season.
We are going to see the reintroduction of Ashley to the game. I think Carly Fadum is going to take a much-deserved rest.
Checking in for Wheaton, number 24, Catherine Ashley.
Jensen Ellis will drop a little deeper into the midfield.
I think that's a good substitution there from Coach Gomez. Catherine Ashley looked lively in the first half, was a creative outlet on that far side for Wheaton. Carly Fadum, certainly a good performance in her own right, but you could tell she was starting to slow down a little bit, having not been substituted in that first half. So maybe Ashley will be the impetus for another Wheaton attack going forward.
Back into play from Beamer. Ashley, nice turn. Forces the help defense over from Fink, and I hope we have another ball because that
disappearing act
is gone forever. It's those bleachers do not lead to an entrance. They lead to the back of a fence. That ball is, and you can see the ball boy is
he's doing his best.
There's no hope. And
if I'm not mistaken, that is former head coach Pete Felsky in the upper corner of the visitors stand.
You are correct there.
Just come on, Pete. We need you, man.
We need
you
you
down there and
need you to get the ball. You know.
He didn't expect to be pulling ball boy duty tonight.
No, but hey, come on! It's conference tournament time. Everyone's got to pitch in.
Exactly.
Cleared away only as far as Beamer. Oh, on the ground. I think that's a foul. I want to see the replay of this. I
think Catherine Ashley was trying to pull a fast one.
How did Fink just get sent to ground there? Oh, yeah.
Just out of frame.
Just out of frame. But
no real complaints from Wheaton after that whistle. I think they knew what they were doing.
You fall that violently, someone must have pushed you. Seelan rises up to get that ball. Out of bounds, though. Jumbled around. Ellis comes away with it. Up the field, cut away by Kekelec, who's bursting forward. She had that beautiful assist forward to Dominguez. This time, though, Ashley is able to track back and cut out the pass before it can happen. And defense of Wheaton will let that trickle through. Lauren Ketchum will reestablish her back line for this goal kick.
Really surprising Wheaton goal, if we're being honest. Just kind of seemed to come out of nothing. We were just talking about how they didn't have the offensive production that we're used to seeing tonight, and how Augustana were kind of going through the motions defensively, and then all of a sudden Jensen Ellis pops up with a beautiful assist. Audrey Sexton, the composed finish, just to slot it past Casto and the Augustana net. And just really on a dime, the dynamic of this match has changed again. Talked about the second goal of this match being critical. I would wager to say the third might be even more important as we approach the closing stages of regulation.
Yeah.
Could be in for another overtime thriller here between these two teams.
Well, Lindquist finally able to turn around. Ooh, another good move. Finally is cleared away by Fank, who just is the anchor for this Augustana side.
It's one of the few times tonight Lindquist has actually been able to get her feet on the ball and run with it. She has had a quiet performance, but that is largely due to the Augustana players just marshaling her anytime she gets near the ball. I'm sure they're aware of her playmaking offensive abilities. They know she'll be a key player for the Thunder tonight.
Kekulak comes away with it. Bursting forward, she has the run of Whitener through, and she's able to find her, catch him off her line, had to be quick. And the Defensive Player of the Year saves a goal.
And plays like that are why she was given that honor. That is heads-up goalkeeping from the senior. Undoubtedly, Whitener was through on the net. If Ketchum had not been so fast off her line, Wheaton catching a break defensively there thanks to their number one. We saw so many plays like that in the first half. That's obviously the most dramatic save Ketchum has had to make tonight, but balls in behind, over the top, catching out that Wheaton center back pairing. Augustana just unable to finish off this chance.
Sexton, nice double move there, goes in. She's got space in front, pokes it forward for Max. Max could be through on goal and isn't. Great save from Casto.
Yeah, we praised Lauren Ketchum a second ago. We have to do the same for Casto on this end of the field. Almost the exact same kind of situation. Great idea there from Sexton with the through ball, just a little bit out of the reach of Rebecca Max, but great goalkeeping once again, this time from Augustana.
Ball is headed forward. Ketchum will corral things as Augustana takes a second to breathe. Now Bross will come over, play some defense. Ball is through here. Dominguez stops on it.
Oh,
gets it through the legs of Zoe Lipke before it's cleared away by Beamer for a throw.
It's good feet from Dominguez as she was looking for her second of the night. She's obviously been a dangerous player for Augustana going forward. Ultimately defended well by Wheaton, but haven't quite cleared the danger yet. What a turn.
Intelligent from Max, sends it forward. Lindquist has no help forward, but if she can get past D'Agostino, she does. Max is in. It's behind her, cleared away by Sheridan. A promising attack, cut away. And now Dominguez finds Bross, and she will look forward, but only get as far as the head of Lipke.
Well, that would have made for some counterattacking goal if we hadn't been able to finish that off. Lindquist just taking the ball a little bit wide, allowed Augustana to get two players over to cover her, prevent her from driving in towards the middle. But this game has become increasingly stretched. The midfield kind of starting to disappear on both sides, seeing a lot of long ball counterattacking play from either team as they look to push forward for the late winner.
We see a bit of an early second sub by Wheaton's
Entering for Wheaton,
latest
number 22.
standards as Rebecca Max is checked
Carly
out by
Fatum.
Carly Fatum.
Interesting substitution, one, because Fatum really hasn't been on the bench for very long, and two, just because that's a defensive change in nature. Fatum is center mid coming on for the forward Max. So Coach Gomez once again making a stylistic change to the way his team is going to play. We'll see what kind of position alterations happen as a result of that substitution.
And I would also say that this Wheaton squad is still a pretty deep roster. There's still a lot of players. And so you just have to think if players aren't getting subbed in, it's because the coach doesn't trust them in these situations. But you have to say Rebecca Max has been more than capable in her minutes tonight. And so it's just a bit surprising that, you know, a substitute that has fresh legs as Sealand will nearly try and bury that into the back of the net. Just surprising that a sub with fresh legs that has played well, I'm surprised that they're getting subbed out this early.
Maybe saving her for overtime.
Hopefully, hopefully.
Well, that was some block by Maeve Sheridan. She is a braver soul than I, getting her body in front of that shot from Tori Sealand, because that was a rocket.
On a cold night, too, I mean, that hurts.
Oh, rough miss kick there.
Yeah, it's a bit of a whiff. Garcia tracked down by Fatum. Smartly gets it over to Dominguez, who plays it forward to Whitener. Once again, though, Ketchum is off her line and distributes quickly over to Schoolman.
Izzy McNally, the makeshift center back, she has her work cut out for her tonight. She has had to make quite a few of those emergency runs, tracking back with Whitener or whoever it is in attack for Augustana, trying to cut out the counterattack.
Oh, nice move from Lindquist. Frees up some space for Fatum. Fatum to Sexton. Ashley is over on the left-hand side. Sexton continues and is cut out by Kekelec. Now Garcia, who won the tackle, up to Whitener. And McNally will just let it trickle out of bounds.
Good defensive positioning once again for McNally just to win that throw for Wheaton. But in that last series, it looked like Sexton didn't even see Ashley. I'm sure she would have gone in her direction if she knew how open she was on that left side. Missed opportunity there for the Thunder going forward.
Beamer up to Ellis. Now Sealand has it. It just seems like Molly Fink is following Jensen Ellis right now. Anytime she comes up, Fink will come with her.
Well, from a Wheaton perspective, you have to be impressed and encouraged by the ingenuity going forward. Just more creativity flowing through this Wheaton side than we saw in most of the first half. Looks like that goal from Audrey Sexton just gave them an emotional boost that they needed in terms of finding those creative outlets, coming up with new ways to pressure this Augustana back line. They haven't had too many clear opportunities to seize the lead in this one, but they've certainly stepped it up defensively, gotten on the ball quite a bit more, starting to win those midfield battles.
Sexton looks forward. Ellis could have been through if she had kept her run. Fink is going to send a leg through it forward to McNally, who should try and head it back. Doesn't, though. The acrobatic flick over. And she's lucky that none of the Vikings players were trying to get forward there.
Doing her best Virgil van Dijk impression in the back line there. Coolness personified, Izzy McNally.
Garcia chased down by Schoolman, who will concede the throw. A couple seconds ago, we just saw for the first time in the game, Lindquist received the ball with her back to the Augustana goal and then immediately play it back to the defender. We have not seen that all season long.
Checking in for Augustana,
I just
number
wonder
12,
if
Ailish Hannon.
that could
Also
maybe
checking in
be
for
the
the
move.
Vikings.
Instead of trying to turn
Number
your
52,
player,
Cheyenne
play the way you
Boozman.
face, play it back. Maybe just try and create another angle. I don't know. Sheridan. Cleared away by Lipke. Lindquist should come down with this and does, but bobbles the touch. Referee providing a nice barrier there as Lindquist comes away with it. Fatum to Sealand. Sealand over to Beamer, who was calling for it on the left-hand side. She's got Ashley ahead and goes to the winger. Kekalek, challenge from behind. Forced to play a sloppy pass up that is tipped away. Now Sexton over to Ellis. Sexton nearly through on the 1-2, but now the Vikings come the other way. Here's Garcia. Down low. Cutting over into the side is the substitute Hannon. Hannon goes from long range, will not trouble catch him at all.
Yeah, Wheaton really improving their defensive organization here in this second half, stepping things up a notch in terms of intensity. Augustana being really limited on the offensive end, only a couple of real chances here. Wheaton can live with long-range shots like that all day long.
Ooh, that pass misplaced. Garcia is now bursting forward. Here's Garcia. Nice tackle from McNally. And you can just see Fatum is gassed as she tries to get to the ball. She's taken out. It's going to be a clear foul, but that is the situation Wheaton is dealing with, having to play starters for most of the game for the last couple of games just due to injuries. Fatum gets up.
Yeah,
and
good to see her.
Schoolman taking it.
Good to see her get back on her feet relatively unscathed. That was a heavy challenge, just that final burst of acceleration to get there before the Augustana player to win that free kick. That's the kind of physicality Wheaton needs to display down the stretch if they're going to take this win.
McNally looks up, has Lindquist. Now Fatum. Sealand looks up for Sexton, who can take it in stride and does. The 1-2. Sexton continues her run and gets it on the wing. And the ball is going to be nearly too heavy, but Sexton recovers. On the right foot, gets the cross in. Ooh. Casta read it well and comes for it well.
Well, that was some combination going forward for Wheaton. A few players involved. Nice pass up initially to Sexton and then combined well with Catherine Ashley on the far side. Sexton going for the
oh no. Ouch. Oh, the foul. We're going to see a yellow card produced for Sealand. Certainly a justified yellow card, as
yeah. That was a heavy challenge, to put it mildly.
Leveled her body into the Vikings player, but right now we're seeing a much more even game than we saw, I think, in that first half. Augustana has cooled down a bit, and in place of that, Wheaton seemingly recharged from that Audrey Sexton goal.
Yeah, I'm not sure what Coach Cesar Gomez would have said to his side at halftime. Would have been nice to be a fly on the wall for that conversation, because this Wheaton team has really come out with a different sort of mindset and attacking impetus here in this second half. As you said, a very different kind of performance from both teams. Feels evenly hanging in the balance. Wheaton with more possession, more chances going forward, but Augustana are always looking dangerous on the counterattack.
Yeah, I wonder what the feeling is from some of these seniors. You think about a player like Izzy McNally, this could be the last competitive soccer game she ever plays. And this has been her life for the past 5 seasons, and for the other seniors, it's been their life for the past 4 seasons. And so when you're faced with any sort of elimination game, any sort of realization that this could be the last time you step on a soccer field as a Wheaton College Thunder soccer player, you just get a little spurred on. But certainly liking what I'm seeing from Wheaton. And here is the replay of that goal, just Jensen Ellis, beautiful through ball. And then Audrey Sexton finishes with the right foot at the near post.
Yeah, that was a stylish team goal. Make no mistake about it. Almost a little bit of hesitation. She was so open, I wondered if the linesman's flag was going to go up, just because Augustana had allowed her so much space. But she knew that she was onside. It was a cool finish, as we said. And to your point earlier, Don, I think when you're a senior player and you're in a win or go home situation like this, you just have to be able to block that out. You have to approach the match with just another game mindset instead of thinking, one mistake and my collegiate career is over. So it's not an easy position to be in mentally for these Wheaton seniors, or for the Augustana seniors for that matter. Certainly turning into a battle of wits here down the stretch between these two teams. Could just have chaos in the air generally. North Central obviously looking to pull the upset at Illinois Wesleyan in the women's game tonight, up 4-2 at halftime. That was a very surprising scoreline. I don't know where it currently sits, but do we have a men's update? Are you?
Yeah, I was just as you said that I was getting on my phone and refreshing. 63rd minute, still 1-1.
Wow.
And oh shoot, Groza got a red card.
Oh,
ouch.
That is unfortunate.
Like currently, like just to as I was
live reaction.
Live reaction
for Wheaton Thunder Sports Network.
That
is a rough way for your season to end.
A straight red as well. So
10-man Wheaton going
10-man Wheaton up against.
Well, of course, in the match here in the regular season, Wheaton got it to 1-1, and the North Park just buried a couple of clinical late goals to pull away.
Yep.
And their job just got harder, down to 10.
The last time Michael Groza got a red card, Joey Sapikiotis thundered in a volley from 40 yards out. That's all I'm going to say.
Say it ain't
I'm going to say it, and I'm going to leave it there.
Also playing a team from Chicago.
Also playing a team from Chicago.
And Wheaton were the underdog in that position. So if only that match were here, then it would really be.
And these teams are getting some rest, getting some talking tos from their coaches. Just 18 minutes and 29 seconds left in regulation for these teams. Of course, if it is still 1-1 after full time, we will go into 2 10-minute overtime periods, golden goal. And if those 2 periods are not enough to separate these teams, they will go to kicks from the mark, which, of course, Augustana used to beat Wheaton here at Joe Bean 2 years ago. Wheaton has been involved in 4 postseason tournaments in the last couple of seasons since I came here as a freshman, and in 3 of those they lost in penalty kicks. The other one was an Elite 8 loss in the NCAA tournament in 2018 to Washington University. So the other 3, I'm trying to think, it was a CCIW tournament final loss in penalty kicks at Joe Bean, and then 2019, it was the Augustana loss that I just mentioned, and then they lost to St. Thomas as well at Joe Bean in penalty kicks. So Wheaton will want to finish things up in regulation as best they can.
You never know. It's a chance to rewrite history. It's a chance to it's like England finally broke through on penalty kicks in the World Cup a few years back.
True.
It's a chance for Wheaton to do the same thing.
Things do get restarted here, though. Wheaton in possession. But Augustana, with a little bit of rest, are resuming that high press that they excelled so much at in the first half. Beamer pokes it forward to Sexton. Audrey Sexton cuts inside. Still with the sophomore. Into Ellis on her left foot. Just gets a little too far away from her and cleared away out of danger.
Well, it came to nothing, but Jensen Ellis might have the silkiest touch of any player on this Wheaton team. The ball is just glued to her foot. That was a very impressive takedown there from the senior.
The run of Garcia will force McNally out, and McNally is able to burst through, has plenty of space in front. Of course, Izzy McNally, an attacking-minded player, she won't mind being up the field, and Lindquist is tackled. Should be a corner, and is for Wheaton.
Yeah, great burst out of the back right there from Izzy McNally. Wonderful speed displayed by the veteran defender right there, setting up Lindquist to ultimately win the corner. It was an encouraging attacking boost just to lift the team for Wheaton. Audrey Sexton, another player with some dangerous service capabilities. We'll see if she can find the head of a teammate here.
A couple of runners outside the box for Wheaton. Here's the cross from Sexton towards the goal. Bobbled around. Who's going to get on the end of it? No Wheaton player. It's finally cleared away and out of danger. For a moment there, it looked like Casto missed it.
Yeah, that was some uncertain goalkeeping right there from the sophomore. Surprised to see her come that far off the line.
Oh,
in the
she's
effort
blocked.
To claim it.
Blocked by her own player, I think.
Yeah, Carly Fadum nearly getting the decisive touch to steer it towards the goal. Augustana once again let off the hook.
Augustana's attack has stagnated just a little bit without the presence of Lisa Whitener in the game. I think she's just getting a quick break before she will be substituted on any moment now to finish out regulation here. But Wheaton maybe with a chance to open things up a little bit in their defense, try and get some players forward.
We talked about Wheaton's struggles in the second half of matches this season. Augustana not too different. They have a 12-13 goal deficit in the second half in their matches this season. Both these teams preferring to do their work for the most part in the first half. So we'll see which side can win out this struggle down the stretch, if indeed there is to be a winning goal. Obviously the possibility of overtime looming on the horizon.
Checking in for the Thunder.
Rebecca Max
20,
comes
Rebecca
back into
Max.
the game. Catherine Ashley will be the player substituted out. Jensen Ellis goes back out on the wing. This was the formation Wheaton was looking like when they scored the equalizing goal. And now with 15 minutes left, you wonder if this is the formation that will try and end the game. Vikings in control, though, of possession. Looking forward for Garcia. Sheridan. Looks for Brusvin. Now Dominguez, the goal scorer. Dominguez through to Garcia, jumbled around. Sheridan picks it up. Schoolman's got to get rid and does. Lindquist flicks it over. And Max comes down with it. Schoolman up to Lindquist. Ball is missed and cleared away by Brusvin. Sealand looking forward. Ball will be cleared out for a throw. Sent out of bounds again. Wheaton just stuck on this near side. Schoolman is once again called into action to take the throw.
Match just seems to have stagnated a bit here in these last few minutes. Neither side really able to put together a serious chance to gain the foothold here down the stretch. Can't imagine either team really wants to go to overtime, especially Wheaton being the favored team on home turf. So we'll see what the attacking play from either of these sides looks like down the stretch.
Throw in, back into the game. Sexton now dancing around some Vikings players. Tries to get it by. Can't quite operate it over, though. Sealand judged to have handled the ball. Pretty fair call.
Obviously free kick won there by Augustana, but we're seeing the value of the high press from Wheaton, forcing those Vikings defenders into tough situations, trying to make a mistake off the back line. Good to see the defensive intensity from the Thunder that was lacking for large parts of that first half.
Sealand caught up in possession, able to retreat for her own mistake. Now it's out wide to Beamer. Looking forward, Fank though. Excellent challenge over to Sheridan. And Brusvin clears out Schoolman. It's going to be an easy foul call. And it looks like Brusvin, though, is a little bit more worse for wear from the challenge, though.
Yeah, Augustana coaching staff not pleased with that decision. Looked like a pretty straightforward call. Both players obviously going for the ball, but a heavy challenge suffered there. Less than 12 minutes to go. Curious to see which of these sides can come up with the definitive chance at goal that they need.
Feed him out wide. Here's Ellis. Jensen Ellis cuts inside. Finds the run of Beamer and a lot of space. The cross is in. Oh, man.
Well, that would have been some way to score the go-ahead goal. She obviously meant to pass it to a teammate there. I wonder if just taking a touch and settling herself on the ball instead of playing it in first time would have been the way to go. It's so hard to pick out an accurate pass on the run like that. But at least some encouraging a play going forward here from the home side.
I tell you what, I'm not remembering who it was against, but Ava Graber, her freshman year, scored in the first round of the CCIW tournament a very similar goal to the one that almost just happened. She was trying to cross it in, and it just took the wrong curve. Ended up going top corner in golden goal, I believe.
Wow.
My mind is foggy on it. I just remember it was a very important goal.
Well, and a few weeks ago against Carthage, Jensen Ellis from the far sideline put in a cross that was similar to the one that we saw from Beamer and crept underneath the crossbar for a bit of a wacky goal.
Yep.
Wheaton are developing a habit of shots like that.
Beamer, her cross is cut away. Lisa Whitener has been reintroduced to the game for these final closing minutes. Maybe we will see a bit more attacking threat from the Vikings than we have seen in the last few minutes. Here's Schoolman. Over to the wing. And once again, Lindquist trying to turn is caught up by D'Agostino. They go back to Lindquist. Schoolman can't bobble the pass. Is that going to be a Wheaton throw? It is. Bit of a surprising one. It seemed like maybe the ball went off initially, but it will be Schoolman with this throw. 9.5 minutes left of regulation. Fatum. Fatum goes low, finds Rebecca Max. Max turns. Shoved off the ball and just off balance enough to not get too much on that cross.
Well, and you love the honesty, the integrity there from Rebecca Max. It would have been very easy to go down in the box in that situation, being sandwiched by two Augustana defenders.
Checking in for the Vikings, number 2, Anna Bross.
Decided to keep her feet, and maybe she wished that she wouldn't have, given the situation how it ultimately resolved. But good, honest play right there from the junior.
Sealand, first winner. Sheridan, second winner. And now it's Sexton. Out wide, Beamer in space, in a bit more of an advanced position as the left back. Pass intended for Max is cut out. Moments ago, we saw the reintroduction of Anna Bross to the game. We're about to see Trinity Gallios.
And now you have to say fitness really plays a part. 8 minutes remaining in regulation, the possibility of as many as 20 more on the clock for these two teams. Augustana, obviously the deeper team, more informed than this Wheaton side. We talked about how that ultimately cost the Thunder in their recent loss to North Central. They certainly look more determined in this second half than they did against the Cardinals the other night, so I don't mean to take anything away from their performance, but which team has the legs down the stretch is going to be a huge part of deciding which side advances out of this semifinal.
A couple good headers won. Lindquist can come away with things here as a result. Oh, the cross-field pass is cut away, intended for Ellis. Won, though, by Sealand, who goes to ground, winning the ball and keeping it in possession of Wheaton. Ellis into Beamer. Beamer crosses it in. It's lost. Oh, Sexton gets it over to Fatum. The shot from Fatum saved by Costeau in the end.
And the referee was putting the whistle to his mouth. It looked like he was going to give a free kick for the challenge on Audrey Sexton from the edge of the box, but wisely allowed Wheaton to play the advantage. Carly Fatum stepping up for the long-range potential winner. And she'll be disappointed that she couldn't put it either side of the Augustana goalkeeper. Ended up being a pretty routine save. But once again, some good play going forward for the Thunder as they look for a dramatic winner.
Beamer. Pass cut away intended for Ellis. But put back into play just as quickly. Past 10 minutes have been all Wheaton here. Augustana really unable to generate anything offensively, at least anything on par with what we saw in that first period. Although that could change now. Pass is intercepted by Garcia. Schoolman's got to get back into position. McNally with the challenge, and that is why she's first team all-conference. Clears the ball out of danger and saves another goal.
Yeah, Izzy McNally, undoubtedly one of the MVPs for Wheaton so far through this one. A number of great
Entering for the Vikings, number
recovery
27,
runs and important
Gallegos.
interventions from defensive positions from the senior. Big one right there to deny Augustana a clear look at goal. It's fair to say this rematch of these two teams has gone much less smoothly than the first meeting between these two sides did for Wheaton, getting that easy 3-0 win up in Rock Island. Obviously, fitness concerns playing a part.
Oh,
wow.
Nice.
What a play.
And then that's the foul. That's too bad.
That was some strength right there from Rebecca Max.
And they both just kind of come down, and I just wish that was a first-time pass out wide, because no player in the world is going to be able to outpace with their first touch another opponent that's been sprinting behind them.
Yeah, I'm surprised she didn't try to knock it out first time to Jensen Ellis, as you said, but still some great physicality right there from the forward.
Sealand winning yet another header, standing at just 5'3". She's seemingly a lot taller than her listed height, able to jump up and get a lot of air balls. And now Ellis looking forward. That ball will stay in bounds, and it will have to be cleared out of bounds by Fank.
Yeah, great pressure right there from Morgan Beamer on the far sideline. That ball looked too far out of reach for her to get, but she was able to just force the defender to make a mistake.
Number 24, Catherine Ashley.
Catherine Ashley back into the game. Last 4 minutes here of regulation as Rebecca Max, after a great shift, is subbed off. Here's Schoolman. Lindquist. Schoolman again. Nice second touch, and she will travel up the field. Now Fatum. Lipke to Ashley. Has the overlapping run of Beamer. It's a bit of a tough ball, but Beamer comes away with it. Shot with the right foot is blocked and comes down for Whitener. Vikings have dropped off just a little bit now. Not really pressing too far. That's allowed Wheaton to try and exploit the space in behind. 3 minutes to go.
Yeah, and you can tell Augustana are the more content of the two teams here just to hold on for overtime. They've done a good job of weathering the storm for the most part in this second half of play. Haven't allowed Wheaton to find the critical go-ahead goal. But Augustana may have a chance here from a dead ball situation.
And a pretty clear foul there on Whitener. And Fink sending all the troops forward. Taking a long run up to send this one into the box. Ball from Fink up towards the edge, tipped by Fatum. No one can quite get it out of danger for Wheaton. Kekelec is dispossessed from behind, and the ball is sent forward to Ellis. Now Bross. Ashley on the far side has collected the ball. 2 minutes to go until overtime here at Joe Bean. Now Beamer. Beamer goes low, finds Ellis in a pocket of space. Ellis has time, goes for the shot. Oh, and Lindquist maybe just a couple feet away from trying to collect that second chance effort.
Ambitious there from the senior to try to go for goal from that kind of position. She may have been trying to slip it across goal to Lindquist, but it certainly came off her foot like a shot. Trying her luck from distance here as the clock winds down. Looks to be the last real chance for either of these teams. We'll see if anything pops up here in the last 80 or so seconds.
Garcia. Pass cut out by Beamer. You just have to imagine that Beamer and Schoolman have to be so tired right now, but they're giving 110% even late into the game. Sexton cutting over. Long shot from Sexton over the bar harmlessly. Minute to go here in regulation.
1 minute.
Looks
Minute remaining in
looks like
regulation.
Sophie Lindquist was available here on this right wing. She chose to cut inside instead, which meant that Sexton had less space to try to find her with a through ball. So the sophomore midfielder goes for goal from distance. Turned out probably to be the wrong decision, but you can't fault the ambition there.
Second chance effort
Checking
goes
in
to
for
Ellis.
Augustana, Alexis
Ellis
Dominguez.
out on the wing has
Milne
Ashley.
Parker.
Catherine Ashley dispossessed. And Bross is forced to come in and clear things away. Sealand over to Beamer. Beamer's pass is blocked. It'll stay in bounds, though, before it's sent
10,
forward to Whitener.
9, 8, 7, 6.
And poked forward,
5,
and this will be cleared away
4,
by Sheridan. That will
3,
do it for
2,
regulation, folks.
1, 0.
1-1, as in typical fashion
end
of
of
the first round of the
regulation, your score,
CCIW
Wheaton 1,
tournament. We
Augustana
will go
1.
into overtime, but since they'll take about 5 minutes to get
There'll be
things
a
back underway,
5-minute
we will
intermission,
take
and we'll
a
start
very
the
small
first
break.
of
But
2
be sure to
possible
join us back
overtimes.
here on
This will be golden
WTSN in about
goal.
5 minutes.
If the second overtime ends, still at 1-1, we will head to penalty kicks to determine the advancing team in the CCIW Women's Soccer Tournament.
The mission of the Wheaton College Graduate School is to form servant scholars and leaders through exceptional graduate programs for Christ and His kingdom. Praise God, at Wheaton you don't have to choose between excellence in academics and praxis and leadership on the one hand, and a deep commitment to serving Christ in the church and in society. No, we wed those two commitments together. We've been doing that for more than 80 years. Our faculty and students and alumni embodying humble leadership and servant scholarship, often at the highest levels of the academy to the farthest reaches of the world.
At Wheaton, our more than 20 degrees and certificates deliver an outstanding Christian graduate educational experience. One built on an enduring model of adventurous thinking that integrates both quality academics and profound faith. Only at Wheaton will you find the first graduate program to emphasize both humanitarian and disaster preparation with a focus on faith-driven leadership. The first professionally accredited marriage and family therapy program in Illinois to offer community services and hands-on student training with its own faculty-led clinic. A master's degree in theology whose alumni place in the top-tier PhD programs, and that offers a partnership with the Center for Pastor Theologians to integrate theology into the ministry of the local church.
Wheaton offers an unparalleled journey, cultivating a diverse community where students actively integrate their faith with excellence in learning, service, and leadership. In our Graduate Student Life Office, we build belonging with a variety of events throughout the year, including Grad Chapel, diversity panels, prayer meetings, and fireside fellowship. We provide resources and support for international students and students of color, cultivating an environment where together we most fully reflect the image of Christ and His kingdom. We facilitate student leadership by offering on and off-campus service learning partnerships and outreach opportunities that integrate Christian thought and action. Plus, our location just outside Chicago puts the world at your fingertips. Everything from world-class entertainment and the arts to the chance to put your learning into action in servant leadership roles.
In the midst of a global pandemic that emptied our own classrooms for half a semester, faculty and graduate students in our Humanitarian Disaster Institute provided research, events, and resources that reached over 603 million people. At the Honey Rock Center for Leadership Development, located in the Northwoods, Wisconsin, graduate students in our Masters in Outdoor and Adventure Leadership program learned and led experientially as they develop and manage outdoor discipleship programs that impact the lives of hundreds of children, youth, and college students every year. As faculty in the graduate school, we seek to model servant scholarship as we mentor our students. For me, integrating exegesis, theology, and African American biblical interpretation is just as relevant to my ministry as a clergy person as it is to my popular and academic writing. You'll find this pattern with all my colleagues at Wheaton, a commitment to service, ministry, and serious academic scholarship. These are just a few examples of total excellence at Wheaton, inviting students into the research, leadership, and ministry of our academic centers, research labs, programs, institutes, and applying the thoughtful leadership of the academy to the real-world context.
So, what does a typical Wheaton College graduate student look like? They come in all shapes and sizes from all places in the world with all kinds of different callings. People like Stephen Bauman, who was the head of World Relief, like Mark Yarhouse, who's doing so much to help us understand human sexuality, like Christine Kane, the Australian evangelist, or like Robert Sityo from Uganda, a remarkable man who with his wife adopted 18 children and sensed God's call to come to Wheaton College to finish his preparation for a ministry of evangelism in his home country. People of remarkable faith, commitment, and a deep sense of passion to do the work of Christ in the world. Our hope is that one day soon you will join them.
Welcome back to WTSN. You have joined us, if you are just joining us for the first moment tonight, at the peak of human existence. We have overtime here at historic Joe Bean Stadium. Wheaton College, the 1 seed, taking on the Augustana Vikings. Wheaton in the white, Augustana in the dark blue. Here we go. Both these teams deadlocked 1-1 after 90 minutes. They will now face 2 10-minute golden goal periods and then perhaps kicks from the mark. Here come the Thunder. Here's Rebecca Max. Dispossessed on the wing. That'll go out harmlessly for a goal kick.
Yeah, Wheaton cannot afford to think about penalty kicks right now. You just got to approach these next 10 to 20 minutes with as much intensity as possible. Good, encouraging start going forward right there for the Thunder. Rebecca Max just letting that ball get away from her in the end, but you love to see the early offensive intensity here from the home side.
Seelan wins the header. Beamer over to Max, bobbles the touch, goes out of bounds. Won by Whitener, able to turn Beamer. Pass forward is intended for Garcia, but Ketchum will come out. And Ketchum, who didn't have too much to do in that second half, has donned a pair of sweatpants. Can't say I blame her. Had to do a bit of standing around. Vikings didn't put on too much pressure in the second half, but we'll hope to change that here. Lindquist bursting down the line, dispossessed. Bobbled a couple times. Whitener, capable Vikings player, can't come down with it either. And it's finally cleared away by Brusvin. McNally up the field looking for Lindquist. Sophie Lindquist now cutting inside. Can't quite get the cross away. It was a great defensive play by DiGustino, who tracked back in time.
A rare defensive error right there from an Augustana center back, just letting that touch get away from her, allowing Sophie Lindquist to steal in, take it off her foot. Might have a short corner here. No, Augustana doing a good job of picking up the run of Beamer, but Wheaton will do their best to take advantage of this gift that has been given to them by Augustana off that defensive error.
And it looks like they'll change kick takers. Beamer with the in-swinger now. It's a good cross in. Jumbled at the near post. It'll be cleared away. Not as far as Seelan, though. Shot comes in. It's over. Oh, off the post.
It almost looked like the Augustana goalkeeper got her hand to it. I think it ultimately just caught the side netting. Not a bad effort on the turn there from Tori Seeland, though, trying to catch the Augustana defenders and goalkeeper out quickly. That's as close as Wheaton have come to their second goal. Good delivery in from Morgan Beamer. She was denied that free kick in the second half. She was not going to be taken off of corner kick duty as well.
It's going to be a foul. Sealand on, I believe that was Sheridan. Tori Sealand has to be careful. Picked up a yellow card in that second half for a rash challenge. That was also on Sheridan. Or actually, no, that wasn't on Sheridan. That was on a different player. It was on Hannon. Excuse me. But the Thunder retreat, and Fank will put another ball into Wheaton territory. Fatum. Pass is clipped. It was going to go over to Lindquist, who has to track back for it. Brusfin cleared forward. Sealand to Schoolman. Tipped away. Sheridan bursts forward, has McNally to beat, and McNally rises to the challenge once again. Garcia gets past a couple Wheaton players. Garcia, low shot, easy save for Lauren Ketchum.
Talked earlier about the danger that Garcia posed this Wheaton back line. Hasn't been her most explosive performance tonight, but she has still proven a dangerous player on a number of occasions this evening for Augustana. Nearly caught out Wheaton there defensively, made them pay.
And just a quick Wheaton sports update. The men's team tied 1-1 with North Park. They're going to go into overtime in Chicago. So both Wheaton teams at 1-1 deadlock in overtime. Of course, this game is maybe 10 minutes ahead of that game, so it won't possibly end at the same time. But regardless, good to see representation for Wheaton in postseasons of a couple sports. Here's Whitener once again, cutting inside, and Sealand had to come over with the help defense. Ooh. And pass is sent forward, curled the wrong way from Beamer to go out of bounds for the throw. Bross. Cross missed by McNally, sent forward only as far as Kelikek. And then a challenge on the far side.
Got to give Augustana some credit. They have certainly emerged from their defensive shell that we saw towards the end of regulation. They have been the team on top in this first overtime period as they commit more numbers forward, looking for a late winner here. Might be Wheaton's turn just to call off the attack dogs and just hunker down for a defensive series here at the end of the first period.
The Vikings do come away with it, though. Whitener, oh, man, not quite the shot you would have expected from her there. But Max with the acrobatic pass forward. Ellis.
I think caught in two minds, maybe.
Yeah.
Not quite sure what she was going for there. I think she saw the goalkeeper well off her line, but not the contact that Ellis would have been looking for.
Yeah.
Nice acrobatic flick, as you said, from Max to start that counterattack, though.
Here is Sexton. Curling over is fouled.
So impressed with Audrey Sexton's strength on the ball this season. She's not a big player, not known for her physicality, but it is tough to get the ball off her feet, and she's really good taking it out of the air, as we saw on that play as well.
Sealand up to Ellis. Ellis tips it to Fatum. It's anyone's ball in the air now. Will come to Fank, though. Second chance effort may be a bit of a dangerous challenge from Fatum. Regardless, the Vikings do come away with it, and here's Garcia. Challenged by Schoolman. Garcia cuts inside. Cross sent in harmlessly. Lipke will be able to deal with it and go along to Ellis. Jensen Ellis. Turns over, finds Max. Here's Rebecca Max. Can go back to Ellis. A smart pass over to Jensen Ellis. Jensen Ellis on the left foot. Gets the shot away. Oh, that wasn't too far off in the end.
inches wide from Ellis. Can't blame her at all for trying her luck there. She had plenty of space to run
Checking
into.
in for the
Augustana
Vikings.
defender
Number
sliding
24,
over,
Savannah
trying
Berkey.
to close the angle, but Ellis still did really well to get a shot away. And just a brief moment of panic there for Janie Casto in the Augustana net, scrambling over to try to block the shot if it had indeed been on target.
Sealand once again, first two in the midfield. And now Schoolman in on the action. Sealand over to Fatum. Up top looking for Ellis. It's cut away. And then McNally is tackled and goes to ground. Now Wheaton could be in trouble. Oh, that pass is through to Garcia. It's got to be Schoolman. Goes to catch him. Some nervous play at the back once again for Wheaton.
Good recovery right there from Schoolman to get back in position, find a teammate off that loose ball.
Ellis, she has Beamer out wide. Beamer in so much space, can go to Rebecca Max or take it herself. She's going to poke it past Kekalek and just didn't quite have the legs to carry herself over beyond the right back.
Well, Don, as this first overtime period winds to a close, do you want to guess what the final score was over in Bloomington?
You know, considering it was 4-2, I believe after 20 minutes, I'm going to say 5-4.
That is not a bad guess. 6-3 for North Central.
Goodness.
The Firebirds, or the Cardinals, excuse me, bring in their A game.
Fair enough. Oh, man.
Probably the highest scoring CCIW postseason match for quite some time.
Especially the 2-3.
10, 9,
That's
8,
you know, if it was a
7,
1-4 and you had a
6,
really good one, I could
5,
almost believe it. But
4,
the 2-3,
3,
that's really surprising.
No, that's
2,
right. That's right.
1, 0.
Now we'll do it for the first overtime
At the
period.
end of your first overtime
We've got
period,
one more
your score
here
remains
at Joe
Wheaton
Bean.
1, Augustana 1.
Wheaton, without a doubt,
Following
controlling
a
that
2-minute
period
intermission, we will
entirely.
have the second overtime.
Only a 2-minute intermission, so we'll stay on the air here for hopefully your benefit.
In
If
other
you don't
scores
like
from
us, you can just
CCIW
mute
tournament action,
your computer
in
while we
the other
talk over this
semifinal
break.
of the
But
CCIW
Gabriel,
women's
I
soccer
mean, that was a
tournament,
fantastic overtime
North
period.
Central
If you're
defeats
Wheaton,
Illinois
they
Wesleyan
were
by
able
a
to
score
field,
of 6-3.
you know, their best players. There was a bit of fatigue seen out there, but
In the men's soccer
overall,
tournament, currently in Chicago,
fantastic
Wheaton and
outing
North
in
Park
that first
tied
overtime
1-1.
period. Again, though, just a lot of
In the
nightmare
first overtime
scenes from
period.
penalty kick shootouts. I mean, if you are Wheaton, you really want to put this game away now in that second overtime period.
Avoid more heartbreak from the spot. The good news for Wheaton, 3 of the 4 players that were involved in that penalty shootout from 2019 are no longer on the roster, so at least the penalty takers don't have that weighing on their mind. But Lauren Ketchum, of course, was the goalkeeper for that shootout. Unfortunately, 2 years ago, she was unable to save any of Augustana's efforts, so I'm sure that will be in the back of her mind as we get the second overtime period underway. A little bit of an interesting stat for you. Both overtime matches that Wheaton has been involved in this season, both have come at Joe Bean Stadium and both finished tied. Augustana also having been involved in 2 overtime matches this year. They have won both in overtime. So one of those trends will come to an end here over the next 10 minutes. But as we see Coach Cesar Gomez offering his last words of support here before the last section of run of play. Both coaches trying to instill some wisdom into their teams for the final period. It's been a fun one. I know we've only seen 2 goals tonight, but it has been quite the tactical battle between the 1 and the 4 seed. This game has been on a knife's edge for a long time. Augustana the better team in the first half, Wheaton taking the second. It is anyone's call how this one's going to turn out.
And these teams just now in their huddles, you know, the seniors are thinking this could be your last game ever.
You can't think like that, Don.
You have to think like that because it spurs you on.
Right.
It spurs
The
you
good
on.
players use that as motivation.
The good players use it as motivation. I would use it as motivation.
I am sure that will be at the forefront of all these players' heads if this one does indeed go to penalty kicks. But in the meantime, there's 10 minutes of play left. Potentially some of these players, well, definitely for one of these 2 teams, their last 10 minutes of CCIW action this season. Which team will come out on top? Talked about fatigue certainly playing a part for this Wheaton roster. Short-handed. They've only used 13 players all evening. We'll see if that manifests itself in the second period or if having survived this long, if they can actually get over the hump.
They do start this second period the way they ended the first. So Rebecca Max, the substitute, begins out on that left wing. Jensen Ellis is still up top. Whitener misses the pass. Goes up for Garcia, headed and cleared away by McNally. Lindquist will be forced to let that one run through. And this is just in, not to distract away from any of this women's soccer game, but the men have won at North Park.
We're still waiting for live stat confirmation. We're waiting for
We have the presidential confirmation.
Oh, that is a
we
good
have
point.
the presidential confirmation.
It's a winner for the Thunder. Golden goal.
Golden goal.
Oh, man. The men have won.
This news cannot come through fast enough.
Gabriel is on his phone refreshing his screen to make it. You just have to see the 2-1.
All we need is a women's winner in the next few seconds to just make
sync
for an
it up.
ultimate Wednesday night.
And it could be Ellis here. It could be Sealand here. She goes. Oh, you can't make it up. Tori Sealand from the parking lot.
Do you believe it?
2-1 Thunder. They take it. No kicks from the mark. Wheaton advances to the final.
Pick that out, Tori Sealand. You can feel the heat off of that one up here. What a rocket. The all-conference honoree wins it in the most dramatic way possible. Oh, my word. What an ending. Your heart goes out to these Augustana players. Never an easy way for your season to come to an end. But you could not have written a better script for this Wheaton team. As you said, Don, avoiding the heartbreak from the spot that has plagued them in this tournament in recent seasons. And, oh, my gosh, what a winner. I mean,
final score in the second
I did
overtime
kind of
is
speak that into existence. I said we needed a
Congratulations
winner
to
from the
Augustana.
women's.
Here's the thing. I spoke the first goal.
That's
when I
true.
said Jensen wasn't
We will
looking
share
live.
the credit, my friend.
You
We will
spoke
share
the
the
second
credit.
goal into motion
Final,
when you
that'll be
said all
Saturday
they have
night
to
at
do is
7
score in the
o'clock here
next
at
couple
Joe
of
Bean Stadium.
seconds.
Well, Don, at halftime of this
Wheaton will
match, we
face
talked
North
about
Central.
how it might
Number 3
potentially
seed
be your
Cardinals
last
defeated Illinois
call
Wesleyan
at
6-3
a
tonight
Wheaton
in
soccer
Bloomington.
match at Joe Bean Stadium. I got news for you, big guy. You're
In
coming
other
back
CCIW
Saturday
I'm
tournament
night.
coming back.
action
That's going to be Saturday
in the
at
men's
7
tournament,
p.m.
The Wheaton men's team
Everyone that is
in
watching this
the
broadcast
first
needs to be
overtime
there.
defeated
That will be the
North
game
Park by a
of
score of 2-1
the
in
century.
Chicago
Wheaton
tonight.
wins 2-1 at Joe Bean, and Wheaton men's soccer winning 2-1 against the number 1 seed North Park Vikings. You couldn't ask for a better Wednesday night for Wheaton sports. Wow. But
we love a flair for the dramatic here
Man.
at Wheaton Soccer.
man, I almost don't want to hop off the broadcast.
That is the beautiful
But-
game at
but
its finest.
we-
I'm still replaying that goal in my head.
Oh,
Upper
man.
90,
Upper
25
90.
yards out. Great sportsmanship, by the way, from both teams here, the teams gathering in the middle. We see a replay of the goal here. Well, this is the first effort
one,
from
yep.
Audrey Sexton, a very important one to get Wheaton back into the game. But, man, Tori Sealand with just an out-of-this-world kind of effort.
And it had been coming from her. She'd been inching closer and closer. Her shots have been, getting a little bit less over the bar. That's a rocket.
I mean,
no,
take
no
nothing
goalie's
away
gonna
from
save
yeah,
that.
no,
Hastings,
right. You
Hastings
cannot
not
blame
saving that.
You cannot blame the goalkeeper. Oh, and they're crediting it as an own goal in the Wheaton men's match.
Wow.
It was a corner kick from Alessandra Di Argento, and the official stats say that it was an own goal. Rough way for North Park to go out.
I'm sure we'll get the story on
right,
campus.
Right.
This
What
will be
an absolutely dramatic night for both teams. You could not have written a better script.
November 3rd will go down in fame.
It
November
is.
3rd, 2021.
Forget March Madness.
Yeah, forget that. We have November overtime madness, whatever. We'll work on the T-shirt.
Yeah, I don't know a catchy word.
Gabriel and I have 2 T-shirts, and we'll work on it as
figure
we
it
come
out.
down. All right, we've kept you guys too long tonight. Thank you so much for joining us here on the Wheaton Thunder Sports Network. For Gabriel and everybody else here, I'm Don Crowder. We will see you Saturday night.